Thank you very much. Commissioner Malmstrom.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, honourable members. It was actually on Human Rights Day, last 10th of December, that we had the first trialogue on this issue, on how to reform the so-called anti-torture regulation. And thanks to very good cooperation between the Commission and the Parliament and, of course, the Council, we managed to get something I think we can all be very proud of. I welcome this agreement. It is groundbreaking, and I would like to thank the rapporteur, Marietje Schaake, and the shadow rapporteurs, and of course the rapporteur for AFET, Mrs. Barbara Lochbihler, and all the shadow rapporteurs. Many countries have, like the EU, abolished the death penalty for all crimes, but we know that the death penalty still exists, and the abolition of the death penalty worldwide remains one of the flagship objectives of our human rights policies. And today we show how we concretely can deliver the trade's contribution to this. We are leading the way. It's a groundbreaking revised version of the regulation designed to stop the trade in equipment used for torture or execution of people. The new reforms of the regulation from 2005 is now a robust export control regime designed to prevent EU involvement in trading goods that are intended to be used for capital punishment or torture in third countries. And as the rapporteur said, there are some very important new elements in this regulation. It is covering activities such as brokering services concerning goods located outside the EU, for which an authorisation will now be required, technical assistance, which will also require an authorisation, and also advertising. We are introducing for the first time a ban on the display of goods in trade fairs in the EU. And for those products made in third countries and exported in transit through the EU, we are making it more expensive, more difficult, by introducing a ban. We simply cannot tolerate that these torture and execution products are circulating through our ports or through our territory. We know that technology evolves and new products from torture may reach the market, and that is why it is imperative that the list of products under export control can be updated quickly. The Commission will now have the possibility to use a fast track or an urgency to amend the list of goods to which the regulation applies on the lists or the list of countries benefiting from the general export authorisation. And let me stress that if this procedure is applied, it does not in any way deprive the Parliament and the Council of the right to scrutiny of the delegated acts. This regulation sets a high EU trade standard which takes into account the need to respect human rights. It is an excellent example of the new value-based trade that is so essential for our trade policy. We have shown leadership when it comes to human rights. It is not only an empty statement, this is a concrete way to contribute to it. With concrete action, through concrete measures, we show that we are taking death penalty and torture seriously, and we want to make it difficult and to remind countries such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, China, but also the US, that we don't tolerate and we condemn these practices. It's a message of support to all of those people who suffer torture and inhumane treatment in prisons, in police stations, that we care for them, that we listen to them. Already the original regulation made the point that restrictions on trade are instrumental in promoting respect for human rights and human life, and thus serves the purpose of protecting public morals in adequacy with WTO rules in this respect. In our contacts with third countries, be it with members of parliament or government, we should promote our values and explain that these restrictions are justified and proportionate. We should, of course, continue our fight against abolishing capital punishment for all crimes and invite countries to apply similar end-use control to their exports. We should also explain that these trade restrictions are not intended to deprive third countries of listed medicinal products, but have to prevent such products from being used for death penalty, and we know in the past that that has actually worked. So authorisations can be granted for exports of medicinal products if it's shown that they're being used for treatment of patients, the purpose for which they were developed originally. So I hope that the European Parliament, with the vote today, will confirm the agreement that we reached last May. It is indeed a very important decision, and a strong vote in this plenary will of course send a very powerful signal, showing that trade policy is not only about economies, jobs and investment. It is also a way to promote our values. And I want again to reiterate my deepest thanks for the contribution and for the good collaboration we have had with this Parliament. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very